So now we've all been there. We've all been in at a point in our life where almost every day feels like, yo, the day's already gone. The day you're running after the day. The days it feels like it keeps slipping by, and it it feels like you're always the one chasing behind it to try to get the things you actually want to do. You want to actually do the things that you want to do, but you can't get yourself to make the time to do those things because you're doing the lower habits, the habits that are holding you back, but you are doing those instead because those are such an ingrained normal part of your day. But that's a whole conversation for another time. But let's just say you're in the ugliest spot of, it feels like you just snoozed the alarms. You woke up very late, you're already halfway past the day, and now you want to make something out of it still and not feel like a waste man. So how do you do that? And so to save a day, there's a method that is known as the four quarters method. So the four quarters method is basically your entire day is split up into four parts. Essentially, the four quarter method is a time management technique that that is basically shaped around different sections of the day. So there's the morning section, which is from 5 to 9, and then there's the afternoon section from 9 to 1, and then there's a, whoa, that was wrong. There's a morning section from 5 to 9, and then a late morning section from 9 to 1 p.m., and then an afternoon section from 2 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening. And then that's where the evening section starts and is from 7 to the rest of the day. So when we have four broken down segments of the day like that, you've pushed, let's say you pushed past the first quarter and you're like, you fully lost it like that. 5 in the morning to 9 is just gone, which is pretty reasonable. That is pretty normal. 5 to 9 doesn't have to be your first quarter in the first place. A lot of us may not even have that part as something that's part of our day, depending on your own personal work schedule. Maybe you're more active at nighttime and whatnot. Your mind flows better at that time. And but point is, when you have those four sections, you could see where I'm going with it, with how 1 or 2 quarters being lost doesn't mean you sacrifice the entire day. You still have 2 more quarters left to go. Even if there was 1 quarter left to go, you could maximize that, and even that is a big win, because most of the days, honestly, you're not gonna always get all 4 quarters perfect. That's gonna be more of an outlier. The days you get all 4 quarters down perfectly is gonna be less likely, because you may have other commitments, school, work, all that anyway, that's already taking up a big chunk. But for your own personal goals, that fulfills you and also sets you up for something in the long run, all that the four quarter method is a good way to have the mentality that no day is fully wasted. You could lock in on one of the segments, you could lock in on one of the quarters and just make the most of that. That's when you start doing your journaling, your creating. Point is, instead of thinking of your day as a marathon, it's a long-winded thing and you gotta have a meticulous specific blocks of things for every part of the day. And instead of it, you thinking as that, you may want to think of the four blocks in your day as sprints instead of a marathon. And during those sprints, you could do those blocks of specific work that you want to do, like specific deep work. Let's say you are applying for college, and one of the section of the day you could dedicate, so that maybe it's that morning block because you just woke up and you're fully fresh and able to give your best work output. So you could schedule that as something in your calendar, as a whole 1 hour 30 minute 90-minute block basically, and that's part of your first sprint. But if you don't wake up for that morning block, that's all right. You just try to maybe push that push that to the later block, but try to keep that. If that's the main thing in your life right now, that's the main priority, that's the main thing you need to lock in, while everything else is nice if you could get to it, but it's not the main thing that's moving the needle towards where your future is heading. Whatever the task is, so if that's applying for college and the essays, personal statement, all that, if that's what it is, let's say you would want to have that as the 90-minute block that you prioritize in one of your quarters. So as long as you hit that, the day is basically a win. Everything else for your self improvement as well are also a priority, but they are they're very flexible. You could shift that around to fit into all the other blocks possible. So some days your workout might literally be 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. Maybe someday your workout is not even an actual full on workout, it's just a really good mobility routine. So you really stretch your body out, get the blood flowing, and just recovering. And that doesn't have to take too long, but that day you had to, because you pushed your day later on into the later part, and you have to get to something else. Maybe there's a family gathering or something you need to get to as well. So for you to get there, you have other things taking you in other places. You still want to prioritize your 90-minute block of work, so you do that, and then around that you shape your other habits. So the workout part could just be simply a 10-minute mobility routine, and just keep it simple, keep it digestible, and adapt to the day. Use the four quarter method, and I assure you your life will get much more in order in every aspect. And I'll leave you with that. Have a good one. Take care. It was good having you here. Definitely implement that, and let me know how that feels and what other topics you'd like me to talk about. Thank you for being here. Have a good one. Assalamu alaikum.